Good morning. Here we are in my kitchen again, except the light behind me. That's not good. Um, I didn't get a whole round to doing this over the weekend for obvious reasons. If you'd seen what I posted yesterday, because I got a baby goat. Well, I didn't get it. It just showed up. We didn't know that Flower was pregnant. I had an idea, but I thought that she would been due like maybe the end of February. But when she didn't have a baby, I said maybe I was wrong. So it was a surprise. It was a big surprise, and I think that Lucy, the other one, she might be pregnant, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. Anyway, this is pills. How to do pills because pills will drive you insane if you're a caretaker. Um, it seems like it starts with a cupboard. You got a cupboard full of pills. Starts with a shelf, and then it's a cupboard. Then um, maybe the end of the table, half of your counter space is all pill bottles all over the place. And those little things to do your pills like by the day are never big enough. Especially like my dad takes a lot of supplements. And the supplements are pretty large. Um, Maybe I'll start with that one. Okay, this is how I do it. When I first started taking care of my parents' medications and things, we had like half of a table covered with bottles because this is just my dad here. Um, my mom was on a lot of medication, mostly multiples of things. One medication had it was 3 capsules of one thing, like I think that was 4 times a day. It was like massive amounts of pills. I still have a bunch of them. I wish I could give them away, but I can't. Anyway, but we had this blank space behind the door, and like when the doors, and these are work orders when guys have come in. So, calendar for the nurse. And this here is a silverware. It's a silverware drawer. I wanted a wood one, and I wasn't sure where to get one. So I think I went to one of the home improvement places, and I do believe that Walmart has them. They were probably less than I paid, but when at the time that I did this, I didn't know where to get one, so I went right down the street to the local, the Big L, and let's see, it works really well. I did anchor it to the wall so that it's really sturdy. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. I only screwed it to the top, so like this will, oh, oops, a little bit, but I did so that I can see, like there's business cards, things that I have to remember concerning. Around the edge is supplements, except for that big bottle there. But when I do the pills by the day, I'll start here and go around and then down the prescriptions. The top shelf was my mom, but now that's essential oils. So there, it keeps them all, the little bottles. They're in the shade. It's not sun because the door is always open. Um, they don't get cold, they don't get hot. It's great. And the pills are out of the, like, not in the bathroom where people can't get to them. They're out here where we know where they are. If somebody's going to, like, go in and try to take one, like, people have been known to do, as they say on the commercials. I've never personally had a problem with somebody absconding with someone's medication, but basically, I'm the one here. We had, as I said before, I did try having nurses for a short time. It didn't work out. So I haven't really had that problem, but some people do, and you really have to be careful. So this might not work. If you have a lot of people in and out, I still would lock them up, somehow lock them up. But this works for me. Now, for all the extras, like sometimes you get 3 months supplies of things, not big enough. So what I got was it's like it goes on the edge of like a counter or something. I think it's when you're doing like Formica, or if you're doing uh, like a granite counter. I think that that's what that is. It goes on the edge, but the strip was like 8 feet or something like that. I still have a little piece, so it's whatever this is. It's probably 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe it was 10 feet. I don't know, but it was under $5. It cuts really easy with a knife or a razor blade, and I just used little screws and screwed it. And it's pretty. I mean, for a pill bottle, that's all you need. That's all you need. But I did have to put. I started out with these ribbons, and this is just a thumbtack. Um, and the ribbons do all right, but they kind of, they're ribbons, they stretch. So I did find we had some of this. It's like wide elastic, and I pulled it relatively tight. That worked really good too. And it's not like they're going anywhere. I've had pill bottles all along the bottom of this, and they never like flopped out. Um, I would put the ribbon a little bit higher so that it's along like the top rather than being this low. I would put it a little bit higher though, because you can see some of them kind of lean out a little bit. Well, that's because of the envelope, but if that was higher, I think it would help hold them in a little bit. So, and if I get around to it, I can adjust that someday. But that is like so slick. Okay, for the daily pills, this is what I did. I took a board that I decided to pick the board up so that it was comfortable for me to carry. The number of pill bottles had nothing to do with it. It was all selfishly for my comfort, and this was a good size for me. So I got the board, and those it goes on a drill, and it cuts out a hole. I forget what they're called, but I took the pill bottle right into the store, and I said I need one of those that cuts a hole that big, and that's how that worked. I didn't want it tight, so that worked out perfectly. um, Drilled the holes. I went all the way through um, because I didn't want to worry about like having to dig that out. And I put felt on the bottom so that, see, and glued it so that when you put it in, it didn't go all the time. It was like quieter, so I wouldn't be disturbing people if I was doing this like at night or somebody was trying to sleep. See, this one says dinner. That's when I first did it. So, but these would have the caps on. I don't have caps on now just because I don't. Actually, I have to fill these. So what happens is, say first day, breakfast time, you take this, you use it. If you have to go out, you can take it with you. It's big enough for all your pills and everything. When you're done, put it in the next hole. Lunch, put it in the next hole. Dinner, put it in the next hole. Bedtime, put it in the next hole. Now the next day, you start over again, right? And because these have covers, if you just put it back in the same place, you'd be like, oh, where did I end up? So, and instead of going like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somebody goes in the hospital and you have to move everything. So this way, nothing's labeled. It just goes by the time of the day. So that works out really, really, really well. I will tell you, it's like saving grace. You can sit there and do pills like it holds it up. They don't fall over. It's just, it was a saving grace. And it's kind of neat, you know. For handles, I just took a piece of wire, I think it was a piece of coat hanger, and put some beads on it just so that it looked better. And painted it a little bit. I only used like craft paint, probably fabric paint, knowing me, it's probably fabric paint. Because I've washed this and everything, and it doesn't even fade. So I'm guessing it's fabric paint. You know, those little squirty bottles. like you get at the craft store and stuff. And these are just, actually they're refrigerator magnets. And I took the magnet off and glued them on. This one's a hummingbird. And this one down here, where is it? He's a frog. Anyway, so that's good for like the daily pills. Pretty nifty, huh? Okay, now this is something that everyone should do. And actually, I think that everybody should have one of these, because if you ever have to go to you call rescue, you fall in the shower. If I fall in the shower, you should have one of these, so that the rescue can just pick it up and all your information is on it, especially if you can't answer for yourself. But if you're the caretaker, I leave this paper in the printer and I call the rescue and I poke the print button. By the time they get there, I've got the copy. They can have it, because half the time you don't get your paperwork back, depending on how your medical runs in your area. We're pretty good. They usually give it back because they don't want our garbage thrown away. So, but when I tell them that they can keep it, they throw it right in his file. And I've seen the old ones in his file sometimes, so it's kind of funny. But you can take it, doctor's appointments, everything. It's really, really good. So it's simple too. But I've covered his information because of HIPAA. And, okay, this is how I do it. I covered this stuff because of his information. But the biggest thing that is of importance, blind, deaf, quadriplegic, big things like that, so that they know what they're dealing with right off the bat. Medical conditions like heart disease, AFib, which is hard, but like my mom had her pancreas was compromised, so her said compromised pancreas, things like that, and any major surgeries over here. Okay, name, address, their phone number. This is important, like if they're married especially, but it's the house phone number, and date of birth. Then it's the contact person. And like with me, that number and this number are the same because we live in the same house. And we use my cell phone for everything. It's like the world has my cell phone number. But the contact person, the relationship, they want to know who they're talking to. They just don't want, like, call Ann. They go, who the heck is Ann? So, and the phone number. And if they have a POA or medical POA, I have both, so that's how I put it, POA, medical POA, so that they know that they can ask me anything and I can make any decisions I have to. And then the insurances. If it's Medicare, Blue Cross, the C, D, all that kind of stuff, I stick here so that they know who they have to contact. And I want to read you this one because I like the chart better than this, but I had to do this. I had to redo everything. So this is how I write it up first for myself. And then I do it on computer with like a graph so that like breakfast, lunch, dinner, bedtime. And you can look right down and say, okay, it's lunchtime. So this is what he's had. He's had this. And it makes it really, really easy for them instead of this, like this, going lunch, dinner, lunch. Then you have to kind of figure things out. If in a chart, it makes it like, if you go in at 5 o'clock, okay, he's had this stuff today. He needs that stuff today. So it makes it very, very easy. You put the name of what it is. It takes like aspirin, the size, the 81, and he gets 1 in the morning. B12, he gets 700 micrograms, 1 in the morning. Potassium, magnesium, C, E. It's like, now his C and E now has to be redone because those are combined. So, and his regular prescriptions I put at the top so that they can see the prescriptions right away. And then the supplements down here. At the bottom, I put anything like, this really isn't, it's not really an allergy. All right? but these upset his stomach. So if they can get by with something else, that's why he takes fish oil. He does not take cholesterol meds. He takes fish oil. Um, Allergy, possibly cortisone, but that's a questionable thing and nobody really knows. But it's still, if you need to know, you need to know. And then down here, as they always ask, if you smoke or they drink, or not you, but if they smoke or drink cannabis, any of that stuff, put that here. It's really important. Don't say say they have wine with dinner and a nightcap and every Saturday 3 beers watching. They don't say he drinks 1 drink a week. Don't do that, because there's too many interactions, and it's like you have to be like dead honest when you fill out this, because they need to know what they're dealing with, because you're assuming that they can't speak for themselves and you're not there to speak for them. So this goes very, very far to give them all the information they need. And I can't tell you how many times rescue, hospital, everything, it says, I wish everybody would do this. So this is very, very important. Very important. Right? I'm not a doctor or anything. I went to school for EMT. And it was one thing that they used to tell people, really, to leave a pill bottle in your refrigerator with your information, and nobody does it. And you spend time looking in the refrigerator for things that don't exist. There is stuff you can buy. There is a magnetic pad that you can stick on your refrigerator. That works too. The other thing that is really good, it's called a MOLST form, MOLST. It's bright pink. Let me flip. Okay, so you don't have to sit there and look at a paper. The MOLST form is bright pink, and it's all your directives. Like if you're a DNR or something, but it doesn't just say DNR, no DNR. There's a whole list of, in this case, in that case. It's really, really breaks it down a lot better than when they ask you. And if you have that and that paper, you know that even if you're not there, somebody's going to be taken care of right exactly the way they want to. It's like we had one for my mom, and when it came her time, there were no questions. It makes things much, much easier. When she decided she didn't want to have any additional testing or any additional treatment, it was like, okay, that's what you want. And I said, you know what that means, don't you? And she said, yes. I said, okay. Then for the rest of the week, well, for the next week, we actually had a good week. And people came to visit her, and it worked out very well. So if you plan ahead, it makes life a lot easier. But if you can figure out how to handle all these medications and things without driving yourself crazy, and the worst thing is where you think that they're done, and then you go like, oh, I forgot to fill them up last night. You know, that kind of thing. So get a few days ahead, like every Sunday or every Wednesday night, or you're watching like the Wednesday night lineup, which is really good. Good time to do pills. And it's a reminder, like you're sitting there doing that, and it takes a lot of stress out of your life. So hopefully that helps a lot. And this is going to take a lot of editing. So hopefully the editing works out good. Keep your fingers crossed, because I'm just learning how to edit. So everybody stay happy, stay healthy, have a wonderful day. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.